Hello everybody and welcome to the first Arc 3.0 build I made on my Titan, and I took this to heart when they said Titans are all about going fast and punching everything. So this build is all about doing just that. Our exotic of choice is Insurmountable Skullfort because of that, infinite melee as long as you get a kill. Then as far as aspects, we got Knockout and Juggernaut. Knockout gives you that bonus melee damage and melee range, as well as starting health regen and making you amplified on a melee kill. Juggernaut is just you sprint and then you take less damage and makes a shield. It's not really necessary. It's kind of just, it fits the theme. If you want, you can run Touch of Thunder and whatever grenade you want for that extra fragment slot. As far as grenades go, we have Arc Bolt, or really whichever one, it doesn't matter. Melee, you're going to want to use any of them. They all work with Insurmountable Skullfort as far as I know. Seismic Strike, Ballistic Slam, Thunderclap, they're all good options. I like Seismic Strike because it just allows you to play faster paced, because it's, a dash instead of having to stand still or be in the air. Jump doesn't matter. Class ability, I went with Thruster because it has the lowest base cooldown for Juggernaut, since it requires a full class ability energy. Super doesn't matter, Thunder Crash or Fist of Havoc. And then Fragments, you're going to want Spark of Frequency, melee hits increase reload speed. Spark of Resistance, standing around people makes you take less damage. And then Spark of Discharge, Arc Weapon Final Blows create an Ionic Trace. Now, if you don't want to use Ionic Trace, or you want to go even more heavily into the Arc Weapon side of it, you can use something like Spark of Beacons and get the Blinding Explosion on Special Weapon Final Blows. You could use something like Spark of Momentum, or really any of these will work. If I could fit one more into this build, I would probably run Spark of Beacons. Onto armor, we already have Insurmountable Skullfort, and I threw on Hands-On for that extra super energy. Well of Ions, so you get that bonus increase to melee damage. Then Melee Wallmaker, Font of Might, Elemental Ordnance, and Elemental Time Dilation. So Well of Ions basically means that the way that this gameplay loop works, as you can see in the background, is you run, punch things, get a well, pick up the well, get more damage, continue the chain. Now keep in mind that you don't have to have an actual charged arc melee such as Seismic Strike. You can just use a normal basic melee because of Knockout. Knockout has a weird interaction that I found where critically wounding or breaking a target infuses your melee attack with arc energy. Now, it may just be like, oh, okay, cool, that's just some fancy wording, but it actually does count as an arc-empowered melee, thus a powered melee. As far as weapons go, doesn't matter in the kinetic, doesn't matter in the heavy, unless you want to go arc for any reason. My personal preference is using something like the Ikelos SMG, or a bow, or the sidearm. I've also found that the deadweight shotgun works really well, strictly because of the fact that I got one with Grave Robber Trench Barrel, which allows me to charge into enemies, reload all my guns, and then have that extra bonus damage. If you do want to go all in on the blinding effect, I would also recommend using something like Cold Heart, because you get those extra Ionic Traces, as well as, it's just pretty ammo efficient. So yeah, that just about does it for the build. In recap, you're going to want Knockout, Juggernaut, Spark of Beacons, Frequency, Resistance, and Discharge. You're going to want any grenade, arc weapon of any kind, Insurmountable Skullfort, and that just about wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. The rest of this video is just a bunch of footage I got with this build, and I've been having a blast the new season, and yeah, hope to see you guys in the next video. See ya.
Freelance Bruce Erebus. I've worked with them in the past.
How fortuitous. Could you broker a ceasefire?
Certainly not. I would never be so unprofessional.
held their attack. Let's escape while we can.
You got a lot to learn about swashbuckling. We ain't the